심진 탐지지 돈도 단련하네 매 방향도 벌고 성지지 공헌은 보지도 버르샤 디우실도 담배 주건 석산에 돈념성으로 주 냠도 삼바 상징정도 특지 바동지 들고는 삼버저 为度化天下无边无际的有情众生，速得无上正等觉圆满佛果，请大家发广大殊胜的菩提心，以及方便广大密度生动机，并且日理如法的谛听。
Please listen to the teaching on cultivating the two aspects of supreme motivation, the vast intention of the Mahayana Bodhicitta, and the vast method of the sacred mantra Vajrayana, so as able to lead all sentient beings as limitless as space to the state of unsurpassed Buddhahood.
那今天呢，我们继续开始讲入菩萨行论。入菩萨行论呢，一共有10品。那我们前面的前3品是让我们就是升起菩提心的这个讲解。那前3品里面呢，我们第1品和第2品已经讲完了。第1品主要是讲菩提心的功德。当我们知道了菩提心的功德之后呢，可以让我们对菩提心升起信心。升起信心之后呢，我们才有会要向这个得到菩提心的这个意愿。所以呢，首先是讲的菩提心的功德。第2个呢，是我们讲了菩提心那个忏悔业障。因为我们要在相续当中升起菩提心的话，我们的业障是一个极大的障碍障碍我们升起菩提心的部分所以呢，我们必须要忏悔业障。所以第2品呢，就是讲这个怎么样忏悔这个业障的部分然后今天呢，我们开始讲第3品。第3品是什么呢？就是受持菩提心当我们对菩提心的信心也有了，要想受持菩提心，然后呢，我们就是障碍我们相续当中升起菩提心的业障也遣除了。那之后是什么呢？之后就是开始受持菩提心的部分。所以呢，今天第3品就是讲这个受持菩提心的部分。
So today we'll be continue on the teaching on the Bodhisattva way of life. This teaching consists of 10 chapters total, and the first 3 chapters are taught for the purpose for us to generate bodhicitta. We have finished teaching on the first and second chapter, and then the first chapter was regarding the benefit or the quality of bodhicitta, which by learning the quality and benefits, it allows us to develop faith towards bodhicitta and our intention to obtain it. The second chapter is regarding the teaching of confession of our karmic obscurations, because in order for us to truly generate bodhicitta in our mind stream, our karmic obscuration is one of the main obstacles. So thereby, the second chapter teaching mainly focuses on the confession of our karmic obscuration. And then the third chapter, which we are starting today, is the upholding of bodhicitta. Once we have developed devotion toward bodhicitta, and once of our karmic obscuration has been purified and eliminated, then right now then the next thing is to uphold the bodhicitta. So thereby, this is the main topic of the third chapter.
那首先呢，我们所谓的入菩萨行论在这些词句的部分的话要说是简单的话呢，也不会很容易不会很难懂就是词句的部分的话也不会很难懂，除非就是第9品智慧品是比较难的。但是其他的话，如果以前学过的道友学习过入行论或者学习过其他的论点的道友来说，词句方面呢没有什么很难解释的。但是呢，在这个菩提这个入行论的最主要的部分是它的意义是什么，然后呢，最主要的部分就是如何我们将这个真正的菩提心在我们的相续当中能够升起，我们怎么样要去实修这个菩提心这个是最重要的部分。所以呢，我们在学习这个入菩萨行论的时候，我们要把重点放在我在相续当中怎么样升起这个菩提心这是非常重要的我们这些词句的部分的话当然非常的深奥，我们要 做一个就是简单的讲义是不是很难但是呢就真正的我们在学习的过程当中只是念一遍，然后就懂了然后呢就把法本放在旁边，这样的话是不够的当然这样也有功德，但是呢对于我们真正的想要出于这个轮回然后呢想要真正的作为一个修行者，尤其是大乘的修行者的话，这样是远远不够的不但我们一遍一遍的要读诵这个诵词，而且呢再一遍一遍的要闻思，然后呢再这样深深的把这些入行论里面的这些讲义呢刻在自己的心里之后呢，我们才可以时常拿到我们的生活当中也好，修行当中也好才可以实修了所以呢这个部分的话，我们在任何时候都不能忘记
The Bodhisattva way of life is teaching in terms of the content or these sentences, phrases of teachings. The meaning of these phrases or the meaning of these contents is not something hard to understand. If any of the Dharma friends here have learned it before, then it will be something that's easy to grasp in terms of the meaning of the words and then it's the sentence. It's not something hard to understand. However, the most important thing is to really understand the key meanings of this teaching, and it really pertains to how we are able to generate bodhicitta, or how we actually able to put into actual practice to generate bodhicitta in our mind stream. That is the most important thing. So again, that is the key point, is for this teaching for us, it's really on how we able to develop bodhicitta in our mind stream. Of course, many of the contents within these sentences, they all have really profound meanings, and yet to give the brief explanation of these teachings is not something hard. But to simply just reading it once and just set it aside is really not enough. Of course, there's merit doing so, but in order really for us to attain the goal of being liberated from samsara, and as well as being on a path as a practitioner, especially a Mahayana practitioner, it is really not enough to simply just recite it once and set it aside. This is something we have to read it over and over again, and we have to contemplate over and over again, so that we can really able to carve the meanings of this teaching deeply in our mind stream, in our mind, so that we can put this teaching into actual practice in our daily lives. So thereby that any time in our lives, we will not forget these teachings.
那我们真正的就深深的去思维的时候，我们就会发现在这个里面讲的每一个颂词都针对了我们众生的烦恼都是在对治我们众生的烦恼。所以当我们了解这个的时候呢，我们就知道这是一个妙药来对治我们烦恼的一个妙药，所以我们才会真正的去实修所以呢就在每一个颂词，我们都首先理解它的意思是什么，然后呢再去思维它为什么要这样讲再去看一下它这一句话里面针对的这个对象我自己有没有如果说我有的话，我应该要怎么样去实修这些就是我们所说的闻思修是这样来的
So if we are able to deeply contemplate each of these teachings, then we can realize that each of these phrases or each of these verses, they serve as an antidote towards our mental afflictions. And then by understanding so, we know that this is truly the medicine that can be used to counter the mental affliction in our mind stream. So here in every verse, we first understand the meaning, and then we contemplate on why is it said that way? What is the meaning of each verses? And then we can see the subject, or does each of the verse relate to ourselves, and how we can utilize it in our life. So this is what we mean by learning, contemplating, and practicing.
那今天呢是第3品受持菩提心。那受持菩提心这里呢，就是首先它是随喜的部分。随喜的部分这里呢也分 就是不一样的随喜。首先是随喜世间善，然后呢再随喜出世间的善。第一个是随喜这个世间善，心乐而随喜，一切众有情，息苦诸善行，得乐诸福报就是这个。
So today is the chapter 3 here. The title is here. Officially said the title is Adopting the Spirit of Awakening. So the first part is to in the act of rejoice. And there's in terms of the rejoice, there's also different types of rejoice. There's the rejoice of this merits of this mundane world, and then the rejoicing of the merit not of this mundane world. So first here, the first verse is the rejoicing of the merits or the merits of the mundane world. And here it says, I happily rejoice in the virtue of all sentient beings, which relieves the suffering of the miserable state of existence. May those who suffer dwell in happiness.
那这里我们首先要知道为什么要随喜，随喜到底是针对什么这个我们要认知。那随喜是针对什么呢？随喜就是针对我们的烦恼里面的就是嫉妒，主要就是针对我们的嫉妒心这个就是随喜的真正的直接针对我们烦恼里面的就是嫉妒心所以嫉妒心这个是一个非常可怕的一个就是毒其实曾经我从小到大我在学院里面学习，我学了很多这些像嫉妒这样那样的这些东西，在图书里面讲。其实真正的我完完全全了解嫉妒的可怕性，是我来到美国我才知道的。其实那个之前我还真的没有悟到嫉妒是什么，因为我自己觉得就是嫉妒可能就是嫉妒吧，没有什么。但是呢，真正嫉妒的可怕性，我来到美国之后我才发现。我才发现有些人对嫉妒别人可以制造那么恐怖的事情，可以制造多么严重的业力。之前我完全不知道，因为我自己本人没有什么其他的功德，但是我从小我想不到我曾经有嫉妒过人，我也许有，但是我完全在记忆里面我没有想到过，从小到现在。我没有曾经有过就是嫉妒人的那种念头，我有羡慕过别人，但是我没有嫉妒过人。但是呢，真正的嫉妒，我来这边才了解，最后我才看到，嫉妒是一个非常可怕的事情。嫉妒可以害自己，可以害别人，可以害自己的今生以及来世，也可以害别人所以这是非常可怕的。所以我们首先要知道随喜的主要对境是什么，主要对付就是我们的嫉妒心。
And so first we need to understand what is the purpose of practicing rejoicing. What is rejoicing? So rejoice is to serve as the antidote towards our poison of jealousy. The jealousy is actually a very, very severe and scary one of the five poisons or the mental afflictions. Ever since I grew up in an academy, I have learned many teachings, including regarding the poisons such as jealousy, etc. But it was not really until I didn't really understand or realize the severity or how scary jealousy can be. It is until I came to the United States. It is coming here that I realized that jealousy can create so much severe impact and consequences and how scary it can be and how detrimental it can be. I personally, from my own memory, I don't think I have much merit, but there's one thing is that ever since I grew up, in my memory, I never recalled that I have been jealous of any other people. No, I have been in awe of others, but then never really being jealous of others. It is, and also, so really, it's coming here to the United States that I realize how scary or how detrimental jealousy can be. It is something that can destroy yourself and others. And it's also as well destroying this life and then the next life. So here we really need to understand that first, that the practice of rejoicing is to counteract jealousy.
所以我们可以就是针对这个随喜的对境就是 嫉妒心，我们去观察一下，我们就是观察一下身边的人，观察一下这个社会上的人我们现在有很多的新闻呢，怎么样？你们看一下，很多人他去伤害别人，动机是从哪里开始的？大部分是从嫉妒开始的，大部分很多都是用嫉妒开始的，嫉妒别人的，比如说长得漂亮，嫉妒别人长得帅，嫉妒别人的成功，嫉妒别人的好，嫉妒别人的学问，嫉妒别人有钱，嫉妒别人有权利，等等等等。然后就是因为别人有自己没有，然后呢心里产生嫉妒心，然后就是开始去做一些这个伤害别人的这些行为，这些全部来自哪里？就是这个毒，就是嫉妒所以在这个社会上，我们看到多少的这样的事情所以呢，这个就是我们真正的要一次再一次的要去针对。当我们每一次做一些事情的时候，心里要观察自己，我有没有嫉妒心？有时候自己有不会发现的所以呢，就是这个方面的话，我们要在学习这个的是学习的时候，我们就要真正的要很深的去学习。学习不是说别人做了好事学习你不是这么简单的，你要针对自己内心的嫉妒，然后呢，就是同时要真正的打自内心的去学习别人。所以我们嫉妒的时候是自害他，那学习的时候是自利利他所以这个我们一定要清楚。当你嫉妒一个人的时候，别人会喜欢你吗？完全不会喜欢你的别人也不会喜欢你，你自己也会痛苦，你身边的任何人都会怕你，因为你是个嫉妒心重的人，有什么好事也就不敢跟你说，因为你会嫉妒但是呢，一旦如果你是一个打自内心对身边所有的人的随喜的人，那你的朋友也会很多，别人也会很喜欢你，别人会跟你分享他的所有的好处。当这样跟你分享的时候，你打自内心的欢喜的时候，你也欢喜，对方也欢喜。所以这个功德是完完全全我们可以马上可以看得到，马上可以感受得到的。所以干嘛我们不去做呢？所以就是这样。所以这里随喜就是我们要从很深的层面去体会、去了解，然后去做到。这样的话，我们就是学习这个入行论就是有意义了。
So we can look at the subject of antidote, or the subject of countering in terms of rejoice is jealousy. So we can look at jealousy itself, that we can observe the people around us and as well as this world, and we can see many examples of people hurting others. Most of these acts really come from jealousy itself. That people may be jealous of others' looks, others' success, their knowledge, their power, etc. Because others don't have because others have what they don't. So really, these people will begin to hurt these other people out of jealousy. So this is something that we can really always observe, and there's many things that we can see as examples in our life. And so thereby, in terms of jealousy, this is something that we need to have an antidote to counteract over and over again in our mind stream. When we are engaged in any type of activities in our lives, we need to really observe in our mind stream to see if we have any sense of jealousy in our mind stream. So thereby, this is something that when we are engaged in the learning of these teachings, we need to learn in a really deep fashion. We need to really dive into the teaching itself, to the core of the teaching itself. So thereby, meaning that we need to put it into use, and we need to observe whether we not that we have any sense of jealousy, and then if we are truly rejoicing others when we say we rejoice. We need to understand that when we are jealous of others, we hurt not only others people as well as ourselves. But when we are engaged in a true, genuine rejoicing, we benefit ourselves and also other people. Because if you're someone who's always jealous of other people, then nobody will like you, because they know that you're someone who's easily jealous and they wouldn't want to share anything with you. However, if you are someone who is always who is not jealous of others all the time and always rejoice in others, then you will be liked among people, and then you will be your life will be always in a more positive environment between you and as well as others around you. So when we engage in these teachings, we need to really have a thorough understanding of these teachings and make sure that is something that we come to realize that is something meaningful and something practical for us, and then we can put it into use in our daily lives.
然后在这里我们随喜的时候呢，首先是随喜世间善。所谓的随喜世间善，我们就说人天福报这里讲的就是人天福报人天福报，那我们要随喜什么呢？我们就是随喜因跟果。这里随喜的时候，我们都随喜两种，随喜因和果。随喜什么的因呢？就是随喜，比如说现在有些人他做一些善事就是为了来世福报大啦，或者是等等的就是做一些善事这个就是他快乐的因所以看到别人做这样的善事的时候呢就是为他随喜一心的随喜，他可以做一个这样的一个就是善事的因。那果是什么呢？果就是他今生就是在人这个今生的这个人的生命里面的，就是世间的法里面的成就，在世间法里面没有病痛然后呢就是有钱财有地位长得就是漂亮帅等等，这些就是世间的这个成就嘛。这些世间的成就，这就是也是果，那就是前世他造了这个善的果，所以来今生前世造了这个善的因，所以来今生就有这个果所以呢就是看到这样今生有福报的人这些就是随喜他们。然后呢，或者是今生在制造善业的人虽然他们没有说是要脱离轮回或者要得成佛解脱等等，虽然没有这样的发心动机，但是就只是为了来世不要堕入到恶道三恶道，然后呢得到一些人天的福报而造善业的，也是他们对他们随喜，所以这叫做世间善所以是世间善呢就是这个
So here, by rejoicing here in the first verse, we rejoice the merits that's of this world, of this mundane world, and that's really referring to the merit that was being created, or the karma to be able to enjoy the karmic joy of the human and heavenly realms, or human and heavenly lives. So here we also rejoice in terms of the cause as well as the effect. We rejoice in the merits that's committed for the purpose of having a better rebirth next life. And if we see someone doing that, we rejoice in that. We rejoice in that cause. And also, we also rejoice the effect of this, the merits, such the effects, meaning the accomplishments of this life, of this mundane life, such as no illness, healthy, power, wealth, accomplishments that are there because of the causes in the previous life that people have created. So thereby, whenever we see these effect or these results, we rejoice in that. Or whenever we see someone creating positive merit or positive cause for the purpose of not dwelling in the lower realms next life, and also obtaining the karmic merits of for this world, for this life and next. This in terms of the mundane world. So thereby, this is what we're referring to as rejoicing of the merits of this world, of this mundane world.
然后呢，这里说消除痛苦的因，然后呢就是积累脱离苦果的受乐快乐福德，也就是比如说消除痛苦的因是什么呢？比如说今生不杀生不偷盗这些就是不杀生的话来世可以长寿，然后呢就是不偷盗的话来世不会出生到这个贫困等等的这些就是消除痛苦的因，然后积累脱离苦的果，就是那布施啦，然后就是上供下施等等的这些都是别人有人这样做的话这个就是我们所谓的 就是还有随喜世间善。
So here it says that the rejoice in the virtue of all sentient beings, which relieves the suffering of the miserable states of existence. These virtues that are referring here, such as the virtue of not killing or not stealing, and such that the effect is not, for example, the effect of not killing is long life, and then the effect of not stealing, it will allow you to not born in poverty in the next life, and also thereby we rejoice many of these things in this mundane world.
第二个是随喜出世间善，随喜积善行，必为菩提因；随喜众有情，实脱轮回苦。这是随喜出世间的善。出世间善这里这个讲的就是小圣的。比如说声闻和缘觉，他们所积累的资粮，或者他们所做的善业，他们的所做的善业，以及他们可以就是脱离轮回而得到阿罗汉的果位，就是随喜这个功德。
And then the next verse is rejoicing the virtue that's out of this mundane world. Here it reads that I rejoice in the sentient beings' liberation from the suffering of the cycle of existence, and I rejoice in the protector's bodhisattvahood and Buddhahood. So the first part is that here it says rejoice. First is the rejoice the virtue of this out of this mundane world, referring to the Hinayana vehicle, the virtues accumulating in the Hinayana vehicle teaching, which the certain people, practitioners, they continue to accumulate to obtain the level of arhat. So thereby we rejoice in that.
然后第三个呢，就是也是随喜这个处世间的善，但是呢，这是就是大乘的善业。随喜佛菩萨、佛子地诸国，亦复乐随喜，能与有情乐，发心福海佛善海，及诸绕意行这就是随喜这个菩萨们的这个善行，他们所知道的善的因、善的果，然后最究竟得到菩萨的果位或者得到佛的果位，他们利益众生的这些发心或是行为，全部一切善业就是随喜这些。
And then here it says, in this phrase also that I rejoice in the protectors Bodhisattvahood and Buddhahood, meaning that rejoice in the virtue as well as the merit that's which the accumulating by the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, such as their aspiration, their activities, everything that they do, we rejoice in that.
那这个三个随喜里面的我们要怎么样去区分哪一个是世间的，哪一个是出世间的，哪一个是大乘的随喜？这个就是跟你做什么善行是没有关系的，这个完完全全取决于你的发心。我们就在一个不杀生的方面，就是一个人就说他不杀生，那他的动机或愿力是什么呢？如果他的动机或发心他是为了自己长寿，来世可以长寿的话，他这个叫做什么呢？他叫做世间的这个善，世间善，因为他的发心是来世可以长寿，得到人天福报而可以长寿的。然后另外一个人他也是同样不杀生而且放生，但不杀生的话他的动机他说是愿我此功德能够得到阿罗汉的果位，他的动机和发心是这样的话，他这个叫做出世间的善，他的发心是为了得到阿罗汉的果位所做的这样的善行。然后另外一个人他不杀生，然后他的发心和愿力是什么呢？他是为了成佛，我等一切众生成佛的话他的这个善就是佛菩萨我们所说的大乘的善所以呢他这个就是变成了就是大乘的我们佛菩萨的这个善行，出世间里面的善行。所以呢我们所谓的做的善行不是看他做什么，而是要看他的发心是什么 所以我们大乘与小乘的差别不是他做什么善行，而是看他的发心的大小。所以呢，在这里我们随喜善行的时候，也是世间善、小乘的，然后大乘的这3个我们完完全全要取决于他的发心是什么，所以我们才可以说他这是大乘的，他是小乘的发心，他是世间的发心是这样的。比如说我们同样的在这个佛堂里面供这个灯那我们的发心是我们为了一切有情众生脱离轮回痛苦，最就近达到佛的果位，那这个就是我们的大乘的发心就近菩提的果位。那如果我们一样的供这些花，我们就说愿我个人能够脱离轮回，然后得到阿罗汉的果位，那这就是小乘的发心。那我们同样供这么多花，就说愿我来世可以有财富、有福报、长寿，那这个就是世间的发心就是差别是这样。
So here, in terms of these 3 types of rejoice, how do we differentiate which one is for of this mundane world, which one is out of this mundane world, and which one is for the Mahayana level or to attain Buddhahood? So this is really not differentiating by the action itself, but really by your own aspiration when you commit such positive act. For example, for not killing, if the motivation to not engage in non-killing, if the motivation is for hoping of a longer life, next life, etc., then that is something that's hoping for something to in the next rebirth, then that is the rejoice of the mundane world. If the aspiration for not killing is to attain arhat, then this is the virtue that is out of the mundane world, out of this mundane existence. And also lastly, if the aspiration of this non-killing is to attain Buddhahood, then that is to rejoice, and that is the rejoice of the Mahayana level, or the attainment of Buddhahood. So really, it's not the action. It's not really differentiated by the action, but then it's the differentiated by the aspirations of the individuals or the motivation to commit these actions. So here again, when we rejoice, there's 3 types. The rejoicing for the aspiration of the mundane world, the aspiration out of mundane world, as well as the aspiration of the Mahayana level. So this is something that this is something that is differentiated by the aspiration itself or our own motivation. Also, in terms of the lamp offering that we do here, by doing the lamp offering, if the aspiration is for all sentient beings to be free from samsara and attain the ultimate enlightenment, then that is the aspiration of the Mahayana. And if the aspirations for our own self to attain arhat, to be free from samsara, then that is the Hinayana aspiration. And if we aspire or the motivation is to have better health, better life, next life, then that is the aspiration of the mundane world.
然后我们在这样学习的过程当中，比如说你看到一个道友他做了很好的善事，或者做了什么很大的功德，那我们是不是就要他面前去说随喜你呢？这个我们得观察不一定说我们每一个人做了善事你就跑到他面前说随喜你随喜你，这个不一定。我们要观察这个人如果是你觉得这个人你这样跟他讲了以后他不会升起傲慢心的话，你可以这样跟他说我随喜你，然后呢就自己也是打自内心的随喜这样的话你这样讲的时候呢就功德就是存在了。但是如果对方这个人他本身就是做这个功德就是为了别人赞美他，或者是会心生傲慢的人的话，你最好不要说不要说随喜你，因为你说随喜你他再生个傲慢，反而把他的功德也没有了对方生了个傲慢心，他做了好事的功德也就没有了所以呢就要看对方，不是随随便便任何人做善事都我要去跟他讲随喜。但是呢心里不管是什么样的人，对方的人他不管是什么样的心，你都可以，只要是功德你就可以随喜，打自内心的随喜打自心里面想我真的很随喜这个功德，希望他能够做更多的这样的功德等等的 就是可以这样去想，这样去随喜。但是呢，言语上讲的话，就是要看情况。
And throughout our process on the practice of rejoicing, if we have seen some Dharma friends that they have engaged in something that's really positive, really beneficial or profound merit or virtue, do we just go up? Do we simply always go up and say rejoice and tell that person that we are rejoicing in his or her act? That really depends and also depends on the situation. Because if this is someone that someone would not develop arrogance by saying such thing to that person, then you can say that you can say rejoice in that person, and you also rejoice genuine. You have a genuine rejoice in your mind as well. However, if this is someone that who may develop a sense of arrogance by committing these acts, and you go up there and tell them to rejoice, and that caused them or her to develop arrogance, then you shouldn't go up, because that sense of arrogance would destroy the merit of that positive act or positive action or virtue. So this is something that we need to observe. But in your mind, anytime, whether or not anyone you see that is engaged in something positive or something virtuous, you can always rejoice that in your own mind. You don't necessarily have to always say it out loud, because to say it is really depending on just different situations.
所以呢，就是从言语上去讲出来跟对方的话，有些时候它的结果是很好的，有些时候它的结果不一定是好的，所以呢，这个就要我们自己的智慧去观察。有些人如果是你去随喜的话，他自己心里也会很高兴，也会变成对他的一种鼓励，他以后会做更多的善行。这样的人的话，就是我们要去随喜他就让他知道你做得很好这样是好的。那有些人的话，你去随喜的时候，他反而心里升起傲慢心，好像我是最棒的等等，这样的话，这种人的话，就是我们不用去言语上随喜他，但是我们心里不管任何人做的善事，我们都要随喜，而且是打自内心的随喜，这样。
So to really say out loud in words of rejoicing really depends on the situation. There are certain people that when you say rejoice to them, they will be really encouraged on the positive side and continue to practice these positive or virtuous actions. However, there are some people that if you say rejoice to them, then they would become more arrogant, and that would really not beneficial to that person, and that will destroy the merit. So in that case, for those people, it is better to not say in words. But to rejoice, it can always be the acts of rejoice can always be done in your own mind, such that you always, whenever you see something positive, you can always rejoice, have a genuine sense of rejoicing in that virtuous act in your mind.
乔美仁波切在极乐愿文里面讲就是你如果是听到或是看到任何人做善业的时候，如果你打自内心的去这个随喜的话，你可以得到同样的功德所以随喜别人的这个功德是非常容易，然后它功德也大，也容易做到的事情。
Lama Rinpoche had said it in the aspiration prayer to Dewa Chen that if you see anyone engage in immense virtuous, any virtuous act, if you really rejoice in that action from the bottom of your heart, a really genuine rejoicing, you will also obtain the same level of merit accumulated by that person. So thereby, this is something that's very meritorious and also very easy to do.
然后接下来呢，就是请转法轮。请求转法轮是我与十方佛合掌诚祈请为苦获迷众燃亮正法灯这个就是请转法轮，祈求转法轮。那我们为什么要祈求转法轮呢？这个就是我们首先要这样思考，为什么要祈求转法轮？因为我们要知道 要把众生的心里面的迷惑，或是无明，或者黑暗，还要遣除掉的话，要怎么办呢？我们必须得要请求就是佛传法轮，或者是上师讲法，然后呢，以智慧的明灯来遣除他们心里的无明的障碍。这就是唯一的方法让众生解脱的。除了闻思修遣除众生心迷惑的障碍之外，没有别的办法。我们有多少佛出世？比如说我们所说的显劫千佛，当然这是显劫千佛我们所说的，这是其中的一些佛，但是还有很多很多的佛，他们在度化众生或者是利益众生的时候，就是用弘法、讲法、说法来遣除他们心里的无明和无知，来这个解脱他们，那个度化他们的。除此之外没有别的方法。所以呢，我们要真正的利益众生，我们真正的要让众生这个脱离轮回的苦海的话，就是要闻思，要弘法，要讲法。所以呢，我们就要祈求就是佛陀或者高僧大德们呢转法轮讲法这样。
And then the next verse is regarding to is the request to turn Dharma wheel. And here it says that I rejoice in the teacher's oceanic expression of the spirit of awakening, which delight and benefit all sentient beings. And that's why and here it says this is the verse to verses. This is the verse to request to turn Dharma wheel. And we need to understand why we need to request the Buddha to turn Dharma wheel, because we need to understand that in order to eliminate the darkness of ignorance among all sentient beings, to eliminate their own suffering, the only way is to request teachings from the Buddha. So to request the Buddha to turn Dharma wheel, or to request our Guru to give Buddha's teaching. That is really the only way that so that the sentient beings can learn the teaching, and then the ignorance can be eliminated. And we can see that within this kalpa, within the 1,000 Buddhas of this kalpa, the kalpa of virtue, but not only this Buddha, but also all the Buddhas, that when the only way for them to truly allowed to benefit sentient beings so that they can eliminate their own suffering is to give teachings, and that is the only method. So thereby here we need to request the Buddha to turn Dharma wheel, or we need to always request the great masters to give Buddha Dharma teachings.
所以呢，我们要知道所谓的智慧是什么。智慧它有很多很多的层面的智慧那我们比如说是我们讲一个最基本的智慧，就是我们能够了解就是比如说是暇满人生难得，这也是一个智慧。如果我们不知道暇满人生难得的话，这就没有智慧。我们知道暇满人生难得的含义真正的了解了这也是一个小小的智慧所以呢，那这些我们要怎么样知道呢？我们必须得就是从闻思修来了解这些。如果是不闻思修的话，暇满人生难得、外潜行、内潜行这些，我们完全不会知道。不知道的情况下是什么呢？不知道的情况下就是无明所谓的无明，就是在黑暗里面一样的。这个佛经里面的每一个描述或者举的这些例子，我们没有深深的思维的时候，我们不会很知道。但是你真正的了解了这个意义的时候，你去想一下，这是非常非常很恰当的一个例子。说佛经里面讲的众生无明就在黑暗里面一样的，这个我们真正的去了解一下，我们众生是不是这样的时候，你跟这个外潜行里面所讲的这些去思维一下，然后再看一下众生的行为，众生他们心里在想什么，然后在做什么的时候，就是完完全全很像一个在黑暗中在外面行走的一个人一样的，完全没有两样， 他没有眼睛，他只是摸着走的。什么是眼睛呢？智慧就是眼睛，他没有那个见地他没有那个正知正见可以看到他前面的道路，所以众生就是在这个黑暗里面就这样走的一模一样的，没有任何的差别。所以呢，我们所谓的智慧就像个明灯一样的照亮我们前面的路，六道轮回就是一个黑暗一样的所以呢，我们必须要有这个智慧来照亮我们前面的道路，然后让我们可以顺利的到达我们的目的地。这就是智慧。这是要从哪里来呢？我们要请求佛转法轮，然后自己静静的去闻思修，这样我们才可以产生这些结果。如果不是这样，我们就没有办法产生。所以这里我们要祈求转法轮，就是这样。
So we need to understand what we're referring as the wisdom. In terms of wisdom, there are actually many levels of wisdom. Here we can talk about the one of the most the basic level of wisdom is, for example, the teaching of the advantages of this human life. This is something that we learn in the preliminary teaching. If we are able to understand what this truly means, then we have that wisdom. And in order to understand such wisdom, then we need to learn and contemplate the teachings, the Dharma teachings. And this is something that we can obtain, whether it's through the outer or inner brain teaching, to send this wisdom. If we do know what this teaching is, then we have this wisdom. If we do not know, then we are being ignorant. We are in a state of ignorance. So thereby, in the sutra, there has been many teachings in the sutra that we referring to the sentient being or samsara as like a darkness, such as that sentient beings are in a state of darkness, that their ignorance really clouded them. They cannot see anything clearly. So if we able to contemplate and learn these teachings, including the preliminary and outer, including the preliminary teaching, then we can really able to correlate the state of sentient beings, what they are, in such that they are in something that we can reflect in our present state for sentient beings, that all the sentient beings there are in the really state of darkness, such that they cannot see, they don't have the eyes to see, they're just simply walking in darkness. And then the eye is really referring to the wisdom, the view. So thereby, the view or the teaching is like a lamp. So it's only by having this lamp that sentient beings can be free. They can walk out of this darkness or this darkness of samsara and then become liberated. So thereby, this lamp or this wisdom is something that really is the only thing that can guide us to liberation. And in order to have this lamp, in order to have this lamp or this wisdom, we need to request the Buddha to turn Dharma wheel, or request great masters and gurus to give the Buddhist Dharma teachings. Because if not so, then there's no other way we can be free from this darkness.
接下来呢，就是祈求不涅槃，入佛欲涅槃，合掌肃其情。注释无量劫，莫领世间迷。这里就是请求佛不要涅槃。这个就是以前释迦牟尼佛需要显示涅槃的时候，也是因为祈求释迦牟尼佛不要涅槃，然后呢，就是释迦牟尼佛多驻留一段时间这样。在藏地也有很多高僧大德显下要那个圆寂的时候，那众弟子们也是祈祷，然后呢，有些高僧大德也是多住一段时间的，有这样的一些公案，所以呢，为什么我们要祈求不要涅槃呢？因为这些佛或菩萨们、高僧大德们，他们在这个世界上就算多住一天，他们的功德都是非常大的，对众生的利益也是相当大的，所以呢，我们就要，如果是看到这样的话，我们就要祈请不要涅槃不要圆寂等等所以这个就是我们七支供里面的，就是请这不入涅槃的应该是第6支了这样。
So here, where we finished the previous verse of the turning Dharma wheel. With folded hands, I beseech the fully awakened ones in all directions that may kindle the light of Dharma for those who fall into suffering owing to confusion. So here, the next one is the requesting the Buddha to not go into parinirvana. And here the verse is that, with folded hand, I supplicate the jinas who wish to leave for the nirvana that they may stay for countless eons and that this world may not remain in this darkness. So here, this is the act of requesting Buddha to not go into parinirvana. This is when Buddha Shakyamuni, when he was about to go into parinirvana, that his disciples requested him to continue to remain in this world, and he did do so by remaining longer than what he was intended to. And also there are also many examples of great masters in Tibet that their students and disciples request them to remain in this world longer so they can continue to benefit sentient beings. And because of their request, these great masters have continued to remain longer in this life and not go into parinirvana. The reason that we need to request these great Buddha or great master to not go into parinirvana is because for these great masters and enlightened beings, even if they can stay in this world one more day, that will really bring great immense benefit to sentient beings. So this is the reason that we request them to continue to remain in this life. So this is in terms of the 7 branch. This is one of the 7 branch offering, and this will be the 6th of the 7th branch.
然后接下来就是回向，就是总回向。那我们知道，就是我们所谓的积累资粮里面，所有的积累资粮里面，全部都可以包括在哪里呢？包括在7支那个7支供里面嘛。所以这个里面就是按照7支供把这个就是在讲这些。所以接下来就是回向，如是诸观行所积一切善，以彼愿消除有情一切苦。那我们就是所积累的一切功德资粮善行等等的，回向谁呢？回向之愿消除一切众生的苦。那当众生的一切苦都消除的话，那他们就可以脱离这个轮回了。因为轮回里面就是所有的苦在轮回里面嘛，所以就消除一切众生的苦而做回向，这是一个总的回向。然后接下来就是有分细节的，就是回向这样。
So here, the next one is the dedication of merit. So we know that all the methods of accumulating merits can be categorized into the 7 branch offerings. So here, this is the following. This section of the teaching is to follow the teaching of the 7 branch offering. So thereby, the next one is the dedication of merit. And here it says that may the virtue that I have acquired by doing all this relieve every suffering of sentient beings. So this is the overall general dedication of merit. And here it says to eliminate the suffering. By eliminating the suffering of sentient beings, then they will become liberated. So this is the goal or the ultimate aim of the path of practice. So here, this verse is the dedication of merit in general, and then it will be then we'll be going to detail of the dedication of merits.
下面呢就是为病患者回向。这下面的话就是它是包括在回向里面，但是呢也有点像愿发愿力，有点像愿力哈。其实有时候回向跟愿力也没有什么差别，有时候是回向，有时候是愿力这样的。所以呢，这首先是第一个，来指众生及尚未疗愈前，愿为医与药并做看护士这样，这是第一个。这里的话，我们就真正的要怎么说去深深的去思维一下这些菩萨的这个愿力是多么就是广的，多么深的，就是 看到这些愿力就让人很感动的这样菩萨的愿力是不可思议的。他这里的愿力是什么呢？真的回向的是什么呢？他回向的就是说，愿于我做的这些功德回向给什么呢？回向给以后将来就是不管任何的众生得到了疾病的时候呢，愿我能变成妙药来解除他的疾病，或者是呢，愿我变成医生来来这个治疗他的病，愿我变成护士来看护他们就是这个就是第一个愿力，这是就是分这个第一个回向的这个愿力这样。
So here, the next one is in detail is that may I be the medicine and the physician for the sick. May I be their nurse until their illness never recurs. So this is included in the dedication of merit, but it's more of an aspiration. However, sometimes the aspiration and dedication of merit may not have much difference. So here by reading this verse, we can really able to contemplate. We need to really truly begin to contemplate what is the aspiration of these Buddhas and Bodhisattva. We need to contemplate how deep and how profound this aspiration is. And if by doing so, we will truly be touched by their immense and their selfless, by their immense aspiration. So here, this is the way the dedication merit is to aspire that in the future, anytime there's suffering, that these bodhisattvas aspire to become the medicine to cure the illness of these sentient beings, or doctors to cure the suffering of sentient beings, or to become nurses to take care of them. So this is one of the immense, profound aspiration that Buddhas and Bodhisattvas have, and this is one wonderful.
然后第二个这里说是盼天降时雨，解除饥渴难，欲避灾荒劫，愿成充饥食所以这个就是如果是有地方有天干的时候呢就是不是天干，这里是主要是在讲那个饥荒就是的时候，愿我变成就是食物，然后像天上降下来的雨一般的食物，来解除这些饥渴的这些众生的这个痛苦，便弥他们的饥荒的灾难，饥荒劫嘛。这个时候愿我变成食物来解除他们的痛苦，这样。
And the next one is with showers of food and drink, may I overcome the afflictions of hunger and thirst. May I become food and drink during times of famine. So here the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas aspire that when there's famine, and then may I become food and water, really to relieve the hunger and thirst of the sentient beings.
然后下面一个就是为饥贫困者，愿成无尽藏，愿诸资生物悉现必等钱这个就是为了解除贫困的这些痛苦，让我变成无尽藏然后呢就可以给这些众生想要什么样的资源，想要什么样的财物，什么样的财产，我都可以呈现在他们的面前，可以解除他们的这些痛苦，这样。
It says, may I be an inexhaustible treasury for the destitute, with various forms of assistance may I remain in their presence. So this aspiration to relieve the suffering of poverty, so that to become an inexhaustible treasure, so that sentient beings, whatever they would seek out to no longer be in poverty, that we aspire to present to them to free their suffering.
我想这些的话就是这些是愿文，也是回向文，也是愿文所以呢我们真正的就是静下心来，我们就是在这里面的一个寄送，我们去想一下这些菩萨的愿力都是不可思议的比如说之前的这几个寄送里面的其中一个就是说变成一个护士来看护这些病人，这样的一个愿力，我们可以去想一想一下，这都是不可思议的愿力 所以呢，平时如果是有空的时候，或者是比如说没有什么别的事情忙的时候，偶尔可以把这些入行论拿出来，然后呢，这个诵词愿文的这些诵词呢，就是一边念诵一边心里这样发愿就是静下心来的，应该要这样发愿，然后念诵这个功德是很大的。我们一般平时说我去做了什么什么样的事情，那样的事情，这样的事情，很多很多，在表面上看起来好像是很大的功德，但是呢，如果是自己的发心跟这些动机没有到位的话，它的功德不一定那么大。但是呢，如果是你在家里，比如说只花个半个小时的时间，打自内心的一边发愿一边想一边念诵这样的这个愿文的话，也许这个功德远远超过了很多很多其他的功德所以呢，我们也可以在短短的时间里面积累很大的功德。因为我们修大乘法，修这个菩提心的这功德是不可思议的，这功德是很大的，没有办法衡量的所以比如说我们今天一个人只是为了一个善心，然后就是做很多很多其他的布施啦等等的，但是呢，一个人他打自内心的就是一个非常清净的愿力，在家里修1个小时的菩提心，不说1个小时了，就是15分钟的菩提心，他的功德都是不可思议的。所以这个功德是很大的，你们可以回到第一品你看一下菩提心的功德里面，就知道是多大的功德。所以我们在修的时候，就是这些寄诵的话，一个一个的念诵，然后去想，如果我要真正的做，我能不能够做得到这个都是不可思议的这个愿力呢。我们要照顾一个病人，如果是让我们不停的照顾个1个月，人可能就垮掉了，说可能不行了。但是菩萨说没有时间的规定没有人数的规定，就是愿我就是能够变成可以照顾他们的所以这种愿力是真的是不可思议的。所以这些都是属于是我们所说的化身里面的妙化身，叫做妙是妙化身。那佛菩萨很多的化身度化众生里面，就是度化成就是比如说医生药食物等等，这叫做妙化身。所以菩萨的愿力里面的话，他们就会幻化成这样的这个化身来度化帮助各种各样的众生。所以我们常常说我们不能随随便便去诽谤一个人，即便他是一个屠妇或是妓女，我们都不能去诽谤，因为你永远不知道佛菩萨的化身在哪里度化众生所以呢，这个就是妙化身。佛菩萨的愿力是无穷无尽的，所以他们的化现来度化众生的方法也是无穷无尽的。
So these are all aspiration as well as dedication of merit. If we can just simply sit down and just read even just one verse here in this teaching, that we can really see how truly the inconceivable the aspiration the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas is. And so whenever in our life, when we are too busy to do any other practice, we even by simply reciting the verses on the Bodhisattva way of life with this genuine aspiration, and that will, even doing so, will bring immense merits to ourselves. Many times many times people may engage in different types of what appears to be a very virtuous acts that requires large amount of time, but whether or not that is truly able to accumulate a large amount of merits really depends on the motivation. However, if we can take simply just 30 minutes of our lives in our daily life to simply recite and make aspiration based on this teaching, then this is truly will allow us to accumulate an inconceivable amount of merit. Because we have to understand from the teaching of chapter 1 that to aspire to generate bodhicitta is something that is truly immense in terms of merit. So thereby to in comparison, if someone who have committed many positive virtuous acts for a long time, but without a proper motivation, then the merit accumulated would not be compared to 30 or not even 15 minutes of a genuine aspiration of reading this teaching. So thereby, we can see from this teaching, just by looking at the verse that we just looked at, then there is no the verse or the aspiration. This aspiration had no restriction of time nor place, such as the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. They will always, whenever it's needed, they will always manifest as doctors, nurses, or medicine to benefit sentient beings. So thereby, in terms of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, their aspiration can be in many different forms, in all kinds of forms, to benefit sentient beings. So this is what we're referring to as their manifestation. In terms of their manifestations, there's all kinds of different forms. So thereby, there's times that we are taught to not to disparage someone easily, even if that person is a butcher or a prostitute, because we don't know who may be a manifestation of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas who appear as so to benefit sentient beings. So again, in terms of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, their manifestation is something truly limitless, and then their methods are limitless as well.
所以呢，我们在平时就是应该要常常的这样发心常常的这样祈祷，常常的这样发愿。如果说我们就是时常这样习惯性的这样发愿，习惯性的这样做的时候呢，我们也许就是在梦境里面，我们偶尔也会这样发愿在梦境里面也会这样想，这样发愿。如果是梦境里面也这样常常发愿的时候呢，当我们死亡的时候，在中阴的时候，我们也会这样发愿如果是能够这样中阴里面都这样发愿的话，即便是今生你没有什么成就大圆满的法，或是没有别的任何的成就，就是你这样的一个愿力在中阴身里面这样发愿，你来世你就会变成一个菩萨的所以这个是我们不能小看的所以这个我们在相续当中种下一个这样的非常殊胜的这个善因这是非常重要的所以我们常常习惯这样做的时候呢，常常习惯这样发愿心里这样不只是口头上讲或者念诵，而是心里一边念诵一边想它的意义，一边就心里自己发愿，这样的时候呢，慢慢的时候，我们帮助别人的时候，或是利益众生的时候，自然而就会变成一个自然而然你就会做的一件事情。当你变成一个自然而然会做的一件事情的时候，你会慢慢的你就会变成一个自然而然就不求回报的一个。当你不求回报为利益众生的时候，这个就会变成你真正的就是菩萨的行为，一个真正的我们所谓的就是大乘的修行者所以呢，这个你也不会计较别人会跟你说谢谢，或者不会说谢谢，或者给你回报，或者不回报，你就是一心一意的你就会为别人付出按照自己的能力、自己的时间去做所以呢，这些都是非常重要的，作为一个修行人。但是呢，要做到这样的是这样，我们要有什么样的基础才可以做到这样呢？一方面是常常这样发心，另一方面呢是常常对这个众生升起慈心。对众生升起慈心是很重要的。当我们对这个众生升起了慈心之后呢，就慢慢的你就会对众生做任何的事情的时候，你都会变成一个非常这个亲近的然后呢就是没有回报的，不求回报的这样的一个善行。所以呢，这些都是我们要一步一步的练习一步一步的去实修这是非常重要的，作为一个修行人
So here we need to always constantly aspire, make aspiration, and pray wholeheartedly if we can make this of a habit to always aspire and pray, then even in our dream, when we dream at night, we will also make aspiration and pray. If we can do so in our dreams, and when we pass away in this life and in the state of bardo, then we will also be making such aspiration and prayer as well. So if you're able to make such aspiration in the state of bardo, then even if you have not achieved any accomplishment this life in terms of dzogchen or any other profound accomplishment, but just by having able to make such aspiration in the state of bardo, you would become bodhisattva in the next life. So if we're able to develop a habit to always have this genuine aspiration, and then able to, such as when we are reading the teaching, we can recite it and contemplate the meaning of teaching and make aspiration genuinely, then we will gradually become that whenever we are helping benefiting sentient beings, it will be something that's occurring naturally, that we would not be seeking something in return. We would be more selfless. So, and by then, it would be truly become a way of bodhisattva, as an act of a genuine Buddhist practitioner. Because by then, you wouldn't really care if someone said thank you to you or not. You will always be helpful and engaged on benefiting sentient beings based on your own ability. However, but in order to achieve in such level, you need to first always have these genuine positive aspiration, as well as having a compassion towards sentient beings. And once you have compassion towards sentient beings, then anything you do for them will be something that's pure and selfless, and you would not seek any sense of payment or some return. So this is something that we need to practice step by step. And because it's something that's really important as a Buddhist practitioner.
那这以上呢，主要就是讲的这些都是讲的或者是修这些，就是主要是为了在我们的相续当中升起菩提心的缘我们所说的因和缘两里面的缘主要就是让我们心生菩提心的缘的部分。
And so what we have learned here are all referring us to the conditions or the factors that will allow us to able to truly develop genuine bodhicitta in our mind streams.
那今天的话我们就讲到这里。
And so hereby we will conclude today's morning teaching.